Archie Luxury, YouTube celebrity and professional photographer. Now fuckers, how do you photograph the moon? What do you do, fuckers? You got a DSLR. How do you photograph the moon? Now fuckers, the next question is, if you've got a DSLR, do you go FX, full frame, or DX? And I tell you what, the best thing you can do, if you've got a DSLR camera, now to photograph the moon properly, you'll probably need a 2000mm lens. That's a huge fucker. So, not many of us have that. So get the biggest telescopic lens you've got. So most people would have a 210, maybe a 300. And here we go, here's mine. I got a Tokina. I got a Tokina 100 to 300 lens. Now fuckers, do you put it on a full frame camera or do you use a DX? Because I got a backup. You always need a backup. So, to tell you the truth, if we're going to be taking shots of the moon, I think you're better off to use a DX sensor because of the crop factor. See, a 300mm lens fitted to a DX camera becomes a 450mm lens because of the crop factor, the multiplier. So it's actually better, if we're going to shoot the moon, we want as longer donger as possible. So use a DX if you've got a companion camera like I have, fuckers. Like all pros, you have a camera and a backup in case something goes wrong. Now fuckers, the moon is a tricky fucker to shoot. Have you tried doing it? If you have a slow, some people would say, well, why don't we set the shutter speed to a slow, a 1 second? No good, it'll just be very white. We gotta use a really fast shutter speed. And I'd sort of recommend you want to use somewhere, try different settings, but it's got to be fast and furious. And I know some people, it depends on the surrounding light. If you're taking it from your backyard and you live in suburbia, sometimes you got to use a really quick shutter speed. So I've, you know, looking at some photos there, I tell you now, fuckers, the settings you got to use. What settings you got to use? At least 1/500th of a second. And in my case, I've played around with it, and I tell you this now, fuckers. I was taking photos, and when I used 1/500th of a second, it was still very white. So I upped it to 1/8000th of a second. And I had you want to have your what do you want to have your F at? You want to have your F, I was using F8. ISO, try around 400 mark, and you're going to have to crop out. So, fuckers, that's how you photograph the moon. So let's just go through those pointers again. Number 1, get the longest fucking lens you've got there, fuckers. The longest lens. If you've got 2 cameras, an FX or a DX, go for the DX to get the crop sensor advantage. The next thing is that you want to set, what do you set your camera to? Okay, you want a fast shutter speed. You try different shutter speeds, but you want fast. I ended up using 1/8000th of a second. I then set the F. What did I set the F to, fuckers? I set it to F8. And what did I set my ISO? Put your ISO about 400. Just try a couple. You can tweak it a bit. So there you go. That's how you take photos of the moon, fuckers. Archie Luxury's Guide to Photographing the Moon. See you later, fuckers!